Let's admit it, a lot of us love seeing our favorite celebs become parents if that's what they want to do. From the cute photo shoots to the baby clothes, we're here for it. And while there's not really a right or wrong age to start a family, some of Hollywood's elite wasted zero time welcoming their kiddos to the world. Number 1. Kylie Jenner. Reality show star? Check. Entrepreneur? Check again. We can add mother of 2 to the list while we're at it. And while it seems like she's done so much in her life already since she and the rest of her family first came to fame in the mid-2000s, she's only 24 years old. Well, I guess it's not that surprising, seeing as how she's been famous quite literally since childhood. But we digress. She gave birth to her and Travis Scott's daughter, Stormi Webster, in February of 2018 when she was 20 years old. And the 4-year-old is now an older sister to her baby brother, whose name we're not exactly sure on, but we definitely know it isn't Wolf like we all thought it was. Number 2. Gigi Hadid. The model and global fashion icon was 25 years old when she and her then boyfriend and musician, Zayn Malik, announced that they'd welcome their daughter Kai to the family in September of 2020. And as you'd probably imagine, the internet lost it and couldn't wait to get a glimpse of her. But in her right, she decided to allow Kai to share herself with the world in her own time if she chooses to do so. But one thing about her daughter that she did share was her experience of having a home birth during a pandemic. She told Vogue in 2021 that she knew it was going to be the craziest pain in my life, but you have to surrender to it and be like, this is what it is. I loved that. Number 3. Cardi B. In a very Beyoncé-esque way, Cardi has audiences in shock when she revealed in an April 2018 episode of Saturday Night Live that she was pregnant with first child Kulture. Cardi gave birth in July of 2018 when she was 25. And yes, in case you were wondering, she's become just as iconic as her mom. Fast forward a few years to September of 2021, and Cardi and Offset added another addition to the family. And similar to Kylie, she'd been keeping things pretty quiet when it came to her son's name. But in April of this year, she decided to share her new bundle of joy, Wave, with the world. And we just have to say that there's probably nothing more adorable you'll see today than the photo she and Offset posted of him. But with that being said, he and Kulture could be twins, right? Because you honestly can't miss the resemblance. Number 4. Sophie Turner. The Game of Thrones star and her husband and musician Joe Jonas welcomed their daughter Willa to the family in July of 2020 when Sophie was 24 years old. And as it's completely within their right to do as parents, they've been adamant about not sharing images of her with the rest of the world. And while they opt to keep their private life private, she has mentioned that being a mom is her favorite job. And we love to see her so happy. But the good news doesn't stop there, as the two are now expecting their second child together. In typical Sophie and Joe fashion, the couple hasn't said a word about the pregnancy, and we probably shouldn't expect them to. In fact, if it weren't for the paparazzi, we'd probably never even know ourselves. Number 5. Britney Spears. As hard as it may be to believe, Britney's kids are growing up pretty quick. She gave birth to her first son, Sean, in September of 2005 when she was 24 years old, and had her second son, Jaden, in September of the very next year. While she still maintains a co-parenting relationship with her ex, Kevin Federline, she'd mentioned that she wanted to have more kids. But as we all now know, her conservatorship prevented this from happening. But fast forward to now where she's free from her family's control, thriving in her relationship with Sam Asghari, and is even expecting her third child. And from the bottom of our hearts, we could not be more excited for her. Number 6. Reese Witherspoon. She's been a talented actress for as long as some of us have even been alive, if not longer. The career she's carved out for herself shows literal decades of hard work and dedication to her craft. And if you couldn't tell by now, we stand. And in 1999, when she was 22 years old, she gave birth to, well, herself. Okay, she didn't really, but you can't look at any picture of the two of them together and tell me that they're not twins. But we digress. And while Reese has a loving family, she's mentioned that being a young mom definitely had its struggles. She mentioned to Elle, "When I first had Ava, I couldn't afford help, and it was so hard. I was out in Los Angeles, living away from my family. I really didn't have any friends, and I had a baby. No one else who was 22 had a baby. And seeing her go from one place to absolutely thriving is something we're here for." Number 7. Adele. A true icon, Adele has been giving us some of the greatest hits we've ever tried and failed to belt out in the shower for over a decade. And we'd literally be here all day if we spent the necessary time that it would take to talk about how amazing she is. So we'll move on. She gave birth to her son Angelo in 2012 when she was 24 years old. And while she's been overjoyed by him, she's kept him out of the spotlight, save for unwarranted paparazzi photos. We love that through her journey of becoming the icon that she is, she's focused on protecting her son and giving us bops along the way. Number 8. Jamie Lynn Spears. When reading the title of this video, we're sure that a lot of you were probably already thinking about Jamie. And that's because when it was announced in late 2007 that she would be expecting her first child at 17 years old, it was all anyone could talk about. It was even rumored that her pregnancy was the cause for the cancellation of her show Zoe 101, but that was later debunked. But she did talk about her feelings on being a young mom with OK Magazine, stating, "I can't say it was something I was planning to do right now, but now that it's in my lap and that it's something I have to deal with, I'm looking forward to being the best mom I can be." Number 9. Solange Knowles. The talented and fashionable singer gave birth to her son Daniel in 2004 when she was 18. And while that may seem young to many, we love that Solange is confident that she made the right decision for herself and is thriving with a beautiful family. But in a letter she addressed to her teenage self in Teen Vogue, she talked about some of the backlash she got for starting her family so young. She mentioned, "Some people will count you out because of the decision you've made to bring another life into the world so young. But you made the decision out of love and will live the decision in love." Number 10. Sofía Vergara. As we've mentioned, there's not really a wrong or right time to start a family if you want to do so. But when it comes to young parents, specifically young mothers, there can be unnecessary backlash and scrutiny. But there's also scrutiny waiting to have kids or choosing not to have kids, so it's really confusing. For Sofía, giving birth to her son in 1991 at 18 years old gave her motivation. She told Kulture in 2017, "I was a single mother very early, and what made me wake up every day, what made me responsible, was that I had the motivation that I needed to make money, to give my son all the things that I thought that he needed." Number 11. Will Smith. When some people think of Will Smith's children, Jaden and Willow are the first people to come to mind, and they're not wrong. But before Will married Jada, he welcomed his first son, Trey Smith, in 1992 when he was 24 years old. He's spoken openly about the struggle in repairing his relationship with his oldest son after splitting with his ex-wife, Cherie Zampino. But we love seeing that they now seem to have a great relationship, and seeing all of his kids together is honestly heartwarming. Number 12. Hilary Duff. The actress and Disney Channel alum was 24 years old when she gave birth to her first bundle of joy, Luca Comrie. Those of us who'd been keeping up with Hilary since the early Lizzie McGuire days were literally jumping out of our seats when she had her firstborn, and we couldn't have been happier. But time definitely flies, because a decade later, Hilary is now a remarried mom of 3. Looking at the 3 of her kids together, you can literally feel the love between them, and we couldn't be happier for the talented star. 13. Brandy. While Brandy has worked hard for decades creating incredible music, playing iconic characters, and constantly reminding us that aging is optional, a lot of people felt that they grew into adults right alongside her. Strong and Independent doesn't even begin to cover the greatness that is this talented musician, but she actually credits her daughter for a lot of that in her older interviews. She gave birth to her only daughter, Sarai, in 2002 when she was 23, and has mentioned how much of an impact her daughter has had on her, even stating in interviews, "If Sarai wasn't here, I wouldn't be either." 14. Whoopi Goldberg. Seeing as how she's been famous before many of us were even born, it may be surprising to know that Whoopi actually had her first kid at a pretty young age, 17 to be exact. She gave birth to her only daughter, Alex Martin, in May of 1973, who grew to have the same love for acting as her mother, appearing in The Color Purple and Sister Act 2, giving a whole new meaning to the phrase, like mother, like daughter. 15. Candace Cameron Bure. While we've pretty much grown up seeing Candace surrounded by other kids on the show Full House, it wasn't too long after when she decided to have her very first kid of her own. She was 22 years old when she gave birth to her daughter Natasha, and later went on to have 2 more sons. While her sons followed in her father's footsteps and pursued hockey, Natasha actually followed in her mother's footsteps and has appeared in Fuller House and even scored a few films. While she's had a very busy career at a young age, we love to see that Candace is happy with a full house of her own. You don't even need to be a parent to know that raising kids is anything but easy. And when you're always in the spotlight, making sure your kids have any type of normal childhood without added pressure from the media can also be a huge challenge. So it only makes sense to show love to our favorite celebs who did so at a young age and were able to grow and learn with their kids. What are your thoughts on today's video? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe to The Thing Celebrity for more videos just like this one.